Hi, this is John Barnes, and you're listening to Cop On.
Whoa. Welcome. Some crazy news coming through the airwaves, the airstreams. God knows how the internet works. If anyone can explain, coponpodcast@gmail.com. I don't know that, but I do know that I'm as giddy as a drunken whirling dervish after a particularly long spinning session because Alexander Isak, I'm delighted to be joined by Brian. Alexander Isak. Brian, the other day we were saying only deluded Liverpool fans would even consider this a possibility because the club holds all the cards. But now Isak has stolen those cards. He's chucked them in the ashtray. He's lit a big cigar that he's borrowed from John Henry, and he's used that cigar to burn Newcastle's cards. What percentage chance would you say this transfer has now of going through?
It's happening. It's really happening. It's happening. The world is melting. Fans around the world are losing their minds. They're literally running into walls to numb the pain. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. I'm like so giddy. It's like, is this real life? What is going on?
I've already listened to about 5 podcasts on this subject since the news broke. That's it. A few hours ago, that Isak has not had. First, I heard that he wasn't part of their preseason tour, having missed Newcastle's friendly against Celtic. I heard that he hadn't travelled. Then I heard that salary negotiations had broken down, and then I was watching excellent ENDZ YouTube channel. Do check it out. It's wonderful stuff. Ends was on, and there was loads of breaking news. He had a couple of guests with him, did Ends, and they were just doing all this breaking news. All the Isak. I mean, the guy that I kind of trust these days, as much as I trust anyone, is David Ornstein, because I don't know if you know how it works with the Athletic. I'll share the screen of his tweet. Hang on a moment, and then I'll just show the YouTube viewers as well what the tweet said. There you go. It says Alexander Isak wants to leave Newcastle United. He wants to leave, Brian. He's not just saying maybe, he wants to leave. But I was explaining how the Athletic works. Sorry. It's not that David Ornstein has his little birds everywhere across the world. It's that every kind of journalist from any kind of club, and they've got lots of expert journalists from pretty much every club on the Athletic, they all filter their breaking news through David Ornstein. That's the hierarchy of how it works. So this is why you can kind of trust him, because he's got several journalists behind him all feeding him this information, and he only publishes things when he's sure about it, to keep his reputation and the Athletic's reputation intact, because we know how many bluffers and chancers there are out there. So Brian, this is from Ornstein. Alexander Isak wants to leave Newcastle United. Absence from Celtic friendly plus Asia tour is the 25-year-old's preference, so he decided to stay at home. Newcastle United FC were keen for the Sweden international striker to stay on improved deal, but are also exploring potential replacements. And that's according to someone called Craig Hope. Which sounds like a made-up name, but I think he's a Newcastle reporter, and so he's the last person to lie about that kind of thing. He's doing a Coutinho, Brian. He's doing a Coutinho.
It's crazy. It's mad. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. The only thing I can think of is, if you think, we've lost, if we lose Darwin, let's say Darwin does go, let's say Diaz goes, which is looking more likely. There's a lot of noise coming in, and we've already lost Jota, unfortunately, right? So that's 3 strikers that we've lost, and we've only signed a striker. So maybe it's not as mad as we think, really. because the word on the street is that Slot wants 2 number 9s, like 2 legit number 9s. And, you know, if we were to, because I still think there's going to be a flurry of outs. You know, there's been no movement. There's been no real talk of any of our players leaving, but surely quite a few of them have to go, right? And when that happens, usually we get good money for players when we're shipping them out. And you know, I just heard, I'm not sure which channel it was, but oh no, it's Romano saying that you know, the Saudis are not interested.
Oh really?
Isak. Just
when was that?
Just
Today?
now.
Just now.
Yeah, like just like
smokes,
10 minutes
I'm going to
ago.
bring that up. Okay, right. 10
Yeah.
minutes ago. Good Lord,
Yeah.
you're more improved. Sorry, you're more up to date than I am. I'm going to have to, you know, show the new improved Fabrizio Romano tweets. But yes,
I think so. Yeah, he was basically saying that the word is that he's not hearing anything from Saudi Arabia, that there's an interest in signing him. So it seems like the only reasonable destination for him is Liverpool. And usually when we go in for a player, we make an offer of that level. I don't think we're going to find ourselves in a situation where we were with that player that went to Chelsea, who I blanked him out of my head, you know, from last year. It was the DM that we tried to sign, 2 of them actually.
Caicedo,
it was one after the other.
Lavia.
Yeah, Caicedo
and Lavia. Uh-huh.
I don't think we're going to find ourselves in that situation again. I don't think Edwards and Richards play that game. So if they go in for somebody, it's back to the old Liverpool model. Is when we're in for somebody, we get them. And we did table an offer from an official offer from Isak, a substantial record-breaking offer. So maybe this is not as mad as we thought initially, because it just didn't make any sense, did it?
No, but I tell you what, though, I'm on Fabrizio Romano's Twitter now, and he's got something that he says, I understand Newcastle are attentive to the Benjamin Šeško situation at RB Leipzig, with Isak now keen on an exit, but he doesn't have anything on his Twitter feed, because I can scroll up and scroll down. This is his latest post. He doesn't have anything about the Saudis not being interested. So I don't know, maybe
he spoke about it in his feed, and he also mentioned that Šeško, he has a verbal agreement. There was some kind of verbal agreement that would make Šeško's move to Newcastle quite easier. So he would be the immediate replacement for Isak if he was to leave.
Okay, that's not what he's put on Twitter, though. So where did you get this information?
I don't know. Maybe I'm smoking crack. Maybe I'm. Maybe it's not Fabrizio Romano. It's some other guy that I'm listening to.
Pletterberg or whatever his name is, Florian Pletterberg.
No. It was definitely Romano, because I know his intro, and I'm always thinking he just whacks on he just gets an iPhone out and just talks to his iPhone, and yet he's got 200 million viewers looking at him every single day. Crazy.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So okay, so it was on
there.
YouTube
Let me pull it up.
Double check your facts there, Brian. I'll give you a moment. You
go.
Have a look. See
called Isak Bomba, Šeško big news, Luis Diaz new bid, and he 47 minutes ago.
On where? On Instagram?
On YouTube.
Oh,
YouTube.
I see. YouTube Romano.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, well that's incredible, because the last I heard was that El Hilal were interested in buying him, this big Saudi club, and then that's a way of Newcastle to get around the PSR financial pickle that they're in.
Right.
But so there you go. Okay, well, thank you very much. I don't know. I don't follow him on YouTube. Perhaps I need to start doing so. But yeah, I mean, the fact that he's tweeted already about Benjamin Šeško to Newcastle means that they presumably are resigned to letting Isak go. Brian, this is incredible. I'm
just looking at the transcript.
Go on.
So I'm just looking at the transcript of the Fabrizio Romano podcast there. And yeah, he basically says all quiet on the Saudi front about Isak. And the Liverpool
I see.
situation is absolutely on and concrete. That's what he says.
Goodness gracious. No, I mean,
Goodness
he's been
gracious
known.
me.
He's been known to get it wrong, so I'm not going to take his word as anything
Yes.
like the gospel, or depending on religious views, maybe you have to take it like the gospel, as unlikely. Sorry to say something controversial, but that's But look at your history. Look at the first gospel writer, years and years and years after Jesus died. But anyway, I respect all faiths and religions, and we'll come to that philosophical discussion at another date. I'm getting excited. I'm talking about theology, one of my passions. And Brian, it's it's not often I talk about theology on Kop On podcast, but it's a marvelous day.
Seems apt.
It does. We've got to praise someone or something. It's unbelievable, because if you think about it, where does he stand in the hierarchy of strikers in the world? Where would you put Isak, Brian?
He's in the Trinity, I think. He is in the Holy Trinity of strikers. He's on the right hand of the Father, perhaps.
With Haaland and Mbappe being the Holy Ghost and something else?
Obviously.
Okay.
Yes. I would say that's only for it was said, and it was prophesied that he would come yonder forth. The man.
Yes, all right. I've made that. Yes, but honestly, Haaland and Mbappe are a level above maybe Isak. That's why I'd put him just a tiny little rung down on the ladder, but still miles above everybody else.
Most people who know their stuff about football and follow football and have opinions worth listening to, they put Isak in that bracket. And they recognize that, Haaland has better numbers. He's probably more prolific. Mbappe is obviously this, once in a generation player. But a lot of people would have Isak in the team rather than having one of those guys in the team. Because just look at PSG post Mbappe, right? And the chat there, what people are talking about. One of the reasons why PSG are such a prolific team now and they're so good is because Mbappe, yes, whilst he's amazing to watch and he's an amazing footballer, there's certain things that he doesn't do and certain things that are lacking in his game. And the same with Haaland, you could say. Haaland's I think it's too reductive to say he's a one-trick pony, because he's not. But he kind of is as well at the same time. Whereas Isak is much more of a well-rounded, beautiful footballer. They're all great, beautiful footballers, but he's much more well-rounded. He's got more in his locker. So what I'm trying to say is he's the best. He's the best. He's coming to Liverpool because we're the best. We have all the money. We're going to buy all the players and have the best time, because that's the way it's supposed to be.
It's mad. I've got so many questions to ask you, but before I ask you more, Forever LFC is in the chat. Hello, Forever LFC, who says, "What an insane summer for our beloved Liverpool FC. Our having the second game of the season. We are away to Newcastle. LMAO." Yes, we were away to Newcastle, the second game of the season. I have to check the date of that, because it might still be in August. Yes, it is. It's still going to be in August. It's going to be about the 22nd of August. I think this is going to drag on beyond that quite deliberately from a Newcastle point of view, Brian, because if you're Newcastle, you're definitely not going to sell them before we play them, surely, at St. James's Park as well. And if anything, like I was thinking about it, the least this does, even if for any reason we can't from this point get the deal over the line by the 22nd of August, or whenever this fixture is, against Newcastle away, if we can't get the deal done by then we've already got a massive advantage. Because when the fixture list came out and we were playing Newcastle second, my thoughts immediately turned to Isak and how many problems he's caused us, and thinking, jeepers, like away to Newcastle, the second game. That's harsh. That's harsher than my granny's old rolling tobacco. But what do you think, Brian?
But you know what? There's another level to this. We're kind of dealing with things on face value here. It's talking about what we're seeing, but maybe Edwards is playing 5D chess and we're all playing checkers. Because if he signs Isak and Ekitike together, we have put the Newcastle project back quite a few years. That's a massive. We have bloodied their nose big time. And yes, with all that Saudi money, they're still coming. They are our competition. We must treat them as such. But we take their star striker who transforms their team. He's like their jewel in their crown. We take the next player that they were going to get to replace him, and suddenly they're taking gambles on Sesko, right? Who is a great player by all accounts, but that's a roll of the dice. That's not Isak's. That who knows how that pans out. And then all it takes is, Newcastle to be mid-table come Christmas, and suddenly Eddie and his dancing monkey is are looking over their shoulders, right? And that's bit harsh. Dancing monkey.
It's quite polite, actually, given his name is Jason.
His wonderful sidekick, shall we say?
Yes.
Are looking at jobs at Brentford, all of a sudden. So, yeah. So now, think of it like that. People are asking, why would we sign Isak? Well, that's a great reason why. First of all, we sign him because nobody else in the league signs him, because obviously he's available. And secondly, we sign him because nobody else in Europe signs him. Because, if like PSG sign him, if Real Madrid sign him, these are the teams that we're competing with these days. So it's best that we have him and nobody else does.
And you could say a lot, and we've said a lot about Ekitike and his potential, and he's got a heck of a lot of potential. What he doesn't have is tons and tons of minutes behind him. The most minutes that Ekitike has ever played in a season is 1,400. When you consider that Liverpool played in all competitions roughly 5,400 minutes last season, Ekitike, he's got a lot of catching up to do. It's the same with Alexander Isak. The most amount of minutes he's ever played in a season is 2,700. So, but it's more. He's got years and years behind him, and he's got this improvement behind him, and he's just clearly up there with he would elevate our attack. And our attack is already, can I remind you, Florian Wirtz presumably playing behind Ekitike, Mo Salah, Cody Gakpo. We've got our own Lamine Yamal, or our own Messi coming through in Rio, the kid, and other people who I can't even remember. But if Isak comes through that door as well, we're talking like it's blowing my mind, Brian. It's blowing my mind.
I think people are sleeping on Gakpo as well, because I just came back from the open training session here in Hong Kong. There was like 25,000 people showed up just to watch us knock the ball around. And Gakpo was the player that really stood out. I mean, Florian Wirtz also was just like, wow. I can't wait to watch the season with him. And I think some of the players have already came out and said the same thing, almost verbatim. What do you think of Florian Wirtz? Wow. We've trained with him a couple of times. We're all quite excited to play with him. But Cody Gakpo, people forget that Cody Gakpo is a big deal. He is a star on the rise as well. I mean, he gets a run of games. That he's so direct and so powerful and so fast. And he was looking amazing here in Hong Kong today. So, man, this team is just looking like it's unbelievable. Really is.
It's absolutely unbelievable. I've got a message saying there's some kind of window problem. Hang on a moment. I just got there's some kind of here we go. I've got to reload something. Excuse me. Technical problems. So there you go. I've got some stats on the screen that I will also share with you as well, Brian, hopefully. Can you see that?
Wow.
I don't know.
I can indeed, yeah.
This is Alexander Isak for Newcastle United last season. This is from StatsBomb. And it's utterly insane, really. His numbers, if I zoom into a few of them, you've got to look at the percentile of things. So his XG is in the 95th percentile. His shots OBV, what does that mean? I can't remember. 98th percentile. Something. He's brilliant at shooting. His pressures in the 93rd percentile, his dribbles and carries in the 93rd percentile, and his XG per shot is in the 89th percentile. Pretty crazy. And if you look at on this kind of wheel graphic that they like to do, he's just basically kicking ass in terms of dribbling and shooting and XG and all the things you want from a striker. You know what I'm saying? All of those beautiful things, as well as pressures. So he's also very, very good at putting defenses under pressure. It's so.
He's also
exciting.
one thing they haven't mentioned here. Rival fans' annoyance. He's in the 99 percentile.
I mean,
he signs for
Newcastle.
Liverpool. Honestly,
Especially,
no, but just
yeah.
not just Newcastle. If we wake up tomorrow and it's like, here we go for Alexander Isak for Liverpool, just open up a bag of popcorn and watch the fan. Just tune into AFTV and the United stand and just watch them melt. It's going to be hilarious.
No, it really is. It really is. I'm going to put a different kind of. There you go. I'm just going to put a different view on for our dear sweet viewer on YouTube. There you go. Now you should be able to see Brian and I looking at the screen that we're looking at, and I'm going to stay with that view for now because it's going to be easier for me to manage. Sorry, I've got loads of technical things to do at the same time. So Simon Law is in the chat. He says, Owen, I think you need to do a guitar song at the end of this transfer window. I always remember the one you did after we beat Man United. I've done several songs, Simon. Thank you very much for reminding me of one I did against for the 7-0. I actually don't remember that song. I was too up in the clouds. I was singing from the clouds, and I don't remember what I did, but I'm sure I did something. After
it's kind of like a bard's tale. I remember it was very oldie worldly, I think.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah,
nice.
I
used to be in a punk vaudeville kind of combo. Obviously, we had
very
a
nice
audience. The famous punk vaudeville cabaret crowd. That's in their millions, rivaled Lady Gaga for sales. But I should do one in that style. I'm not sure. Simon says a window like this deserves a song, and Simon also says I'm almost stressed at the money we are spending. It seems too much and too good to be true. Isak and Ekitike give Slot so many options, though on top of what we already have. It's a great point, Simon. And Brian, we've been conditioned, haven't we, to be the penny pinching Reds, the spendthrift Reds. We don't spend anything. John Henry's wallet is shut unless you prise it open with, a crowbar. But here he is. I don't know what happened. Somebody said that they saw a John Henry tweet where he went out for a beer with Richard Hughes and he ended up losing 300 million the next morning when he woke up because and I think it might be what happened. It might not be too far from the truth, because suddenly we're spending all this money, and I don't remember. We've never had a transfer window like this, even in 87, 88 when we brought in Aldridge, Barnes, and Beardsley. But here we are. We've got Kirkes, who looks amazing. Frimpong, who looks amazing. Wirtz, who's out of this world. Ekitike with all of the trickery and the great range of stuff that he could bring to our squad. And potentially on top of that, Alexander Isak. This is dreamland, isn't it? It's the best transfer window that we've had. Obviously, we cannot and we will not ever forget Diogo Jota and the tragedy that we're also dealing with. You know what I mean? It's something that we, it may well affect performance going into this season, but I don't think that we have to not be excited at the same time as we're mourning Diogo and Andre, and at the same time looking at this, it's so damned exciting.
No, we celebrate it. We celebrate him. He's been immortalized. He'll never be forgotten. And when that news came out, I chose to celebrate him and celebrate that that we had him here. And it's okay. Life goes on. It's okay. You can do that whichever way suits you the best, and you can still enjoy your football, and you can still enjoy the transfers that come in, and still enjoy the beautiful game, because that's why we're here at the end of the day. And and I was thinking, I can't remember a transfer window like this. As it stands, it's perfect. As it stands, it's not perfect, but this would be a beautiful transfer window if we just shut the door right now. That's lovely. We got a right back, left back, attacking mid, a brilliant goalkeeper, couple of kids. Okay, brilliant. That's nice. I mean, they're all first team players as well. 3 first team players, bang in there. But if we get Isak as well, I mean, people are saying it's not just the best transfer window for us. People are saying it's the best transfer window ever in Premiership history, in football history, in terms of 4 absolute superstars. Let's not forget, Kirkhouse is the best left back in the league, right? People were saying that he, on performance, on merit. Outside of Trent, Frimpong is the best right back, or one right up there. Wirtz, I have to admit, I didn't know too much about him beforehand, but now I do, and obviously I know a lot about him. People are so excited that he's a once in a generational German talent. I mean, that's high praise indeed. And rather than go to Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, where you expect these players to go, he went to us. It's a sea change. It's a big sea change. When he went to us, that was the beginning. Lots of people just stood up and took notice. We're like, whoa, hold a minute. What's happening? That's not supposed to happen. They're not supposed to spend that much money on a kid. What's going on? And now we're just taking it to the next level. And forget, we didn't spend any money in the last transfer window. We've just won the league and all the money that comes with that. And we will ship out a bunch of players. And we had a natural amount of money to spend this summer as well. So I think financially, when all's said and done, when the chips settle, when all the outs go, it'll turn out that we haven't spent a huge amount. We've spent a fair amount of money, but we are doing what champions do. We're taking advantage of our situation. And also, I think Edwards and Hughes smell weakness in the waters. There's blood in the waters. If you look at our competition, you look at the other teams around there, Arsenal are going to be under so much pressure this campaign. As soon as they take a little bit of they go through a rough patch, their fan base will just turn on them like feral meerkats. And United are not even in the conversation. They're that's just a complete shit show. We don't have to worry about them. City, what are City doing? City are trying to re-sign their striker, their goalkeeper from
James Trafford.
Yeah, that's a big story for them. What's going on? Their goalkeeper is going to sign for he's off to Greece, and what is going? It's almost like we're in a simulation, and somebody's just decided let's let Liverpool have all the fun this season. Liverpool fans are obviously the best. That's the best club. They deserve everything. Let's give them everything and give everybody else nothing. So, and then this, yes, I remember this.
I've just put on screen for the audio listeners the famous Isak and Virgil little interchange they had at the end of the at the end of the cup final, the League Cup final, when Newcastle won, and you could just tell they had a cheeky little conversation. What do you think Isak was saying in this situation? Virgil gave him this look, this kind of knowing look, and I thought, I don't know, like as usual, you had amazing people who had skills or lip reading, which is completely crazy on Twitter, saying yes, the lip reader says that Virgil was basically talking. Isak said to Virgil, stay where you are, Virgil. This is before Virgil had signed his contract. Stay where you are, Virgil, because I'm coming to Liverpool next year. That's what someone lip read it as, which is very funny because I love the lip readers.
Virgil actually said to him, "Is the assistant manager's tan real? If you look closely, is it real, mate? Is that real?" That's what he says. You can almost see it coming out of his mouth in that picture. Excellent. No, I've seen that as well. Some people saying, "Yeah, are you coming?" One of them said that. It was a word, "You coming next season" or whatever. It's just too good to be true, isn't it? Brilliant.
It really is. So I mean, okay. So let's say, for example, if we get two number 9s, I mean, the Newcastle fans were quite famously saying that, the Newcastle fans were I don't like using the word crowing, but they were getting very excited of having a 4-4-2 with Isak and Ekitike up front before we signed Ekitike, and now we might sign Isak. And I just wonder if we're going to play a 4-4-2 in the future when they come to Anfield, because as I say, I don't expect Isak will be available for the fixture at St James's Park in August. But yes, for the return match, imagine that, a 4-4-2, because what we've got, you see, is we've got this possibility now. I say now as if it's over the line. Imagine we sign Isak. Okay, imagine he's through the door. We've got him. Okay, we could play a 4-4-2 diamond. With Gravenberch at the base of midfield, with Szoboszlai, with McAllister, and then Florian Wirtz at the point of the diamond behind Ekitike and Isak, or indeed Isak and Salah. Salah can play as a striker.
I think we're going to play a 2-4-4.
Yes, well, you may as well. Because if you have that diamond system, but with Frimpong and Kerkez basically playing right wing and left wing, then you're basically playing 2-4-4. You really are. You are actually doing that.
Exactly. We really are. Because that's kind of how we play most of the time, right? We play 2-4-4. Really.
When we're in control of games. Totally. So there you go. I mean, how finished are we? I mean, if we get Isak through the door, we need a centre back. We've gotten rid of Kwanzaa and a midfielder, or are you just, you can't be too greedy?
I'm okay with them. I think we definitely need a centre back because we're a little bit light back there, and I don't see any young players coming through that I can think of off the top of my head. I think we could have another set of legs in the middle of the park. That might be good, but I do think there is options there. There's things that we can do still. I don't think that's pressing as such. I think going into the new season, the only thing I really want is another centre back because I think we're just too light, and if Konate gets an injury or Verge, then who is it? Joe Gomez. I mean, Joe Gomez is a great player, and actually, when he gets a run of games, he can, and particularly if he's next to Verge. if it's Konate that gets injured, then Gomez can sit in, and you may even see, Andy Robinson playing back there or Gravenberch, right? But I think we can all agree that a decent centre back wouldn't go amiss. But the whole Isak thing, I'm just sitting back, smiling, watching, enjoying.
Have you seen that picture of John Henry with a cigar? There's an old one, but then there's a new one this summer that was posted by his wife, girlfriend. I'm not sure if they're married, Linda. It's absolutely epic. Have you seen it?
Lady in
I'll
red.
bring it up on the screen here. I'll bring it up on screen. It's sort of like The Godfather, but a sort of.
He is the Godfather.
Yeah, I think he might be.
He just doesn't mess around, does he?
No, exactly. I think it's gonna. My screen is gonna flick in a minute. I've got so many different processes going on that my computer's kind of a bit crazy. So sorry about that. But there you go. Let's try. I'll stop sharing and then I'll share again. Excuse me, technical issues. This photo here. See if you can see this one. Hang on.
Slot looks like a young kingpin. A happy kingpin.
Yes,
Kingpin?
Is
that it?
Kingpin, I think. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. But no, okay, it appears to not be working, but maybe it will one day.
Oh well.
But that's okay. I'll leave it up, and we'll see if we can, if it will come through or not. He's basically, if I can describe it anyway for the audio listeners, it's a very unusual outfit he's wearing. He's wearing jeans and some kind of sleeveless. It looks like fleece top. Oh, here we go. Which is sort of a creamy color with some kind of grey sports top. So he's got a grey sports top and a pair of Levi's. He's sitting by a fireplace and the light is coming from overhead and he looks very serious and he's just smoking this really massive cigar as if he's just closed the deal for Isak or some
buy
other
them all.
Priceless. Yeah, some other priceless.
Bring me all the toys.
That's exactly it. And it's epic. I can't bring enough.
I'm watching Foundation at the moment. Have you seen Foundation?
No, what's that?
Isaac Asimov. It's the Isaac Asimov book. It's a sci-fi book, but they've made it into a series on Apple, and it's there is the leader is called it's called the Foundation. He's called Empire. And I think John Henry is given very empire. Like, I am going to control the game. We're going to control everything. We're going to buy all the toys.
Sounds great. Sounds excellent.
You should check it out. You'll like it.
I'd love to. But there we go. I don't know, Brian. I mean, we'll go through our lineup. I mean, the number one lineup as it is, as you say. Sorry, I want to ask you about the friendly. You said Cody Gakpo stood out. I say friendly. Sorry, training. You were there. You were in Hong Kong. This is exciting.
Yes,
you are still in Hong
amazing.
Kong, but you were in the stadium in Hong Kong today. Tell me about it. What happened? Tell me about what your
Well,
day.
it was funny because the players were like coming out and all the fans were like screaming, and I was the only solitary voice screaming, "Gibbo, Gibbo!" The Anfield rap were down there. I was
the real star, John Gibbons.
Exactly, I was more
Absolutely.
starstruck by John Gibbons. It's like, sign my T-shirt, Gibbo, right over here.
Did you have a sign? Please, can you give me your shirt, John?
Yeah, nobody wants to see that. And for both of us. No, it was great, and I took my daughter, my youngest, to see him, and she was so excited, and it was just amazing. Like, the whole city turned red. There was people in Liverpool tops everywhere. The train was just full of Liverpool fans, and 25,000 people showed up and paid money. I mean, the tickets were like, I'm just trying to think, maybe 20 euros or something like that to go to watch an open training session. And people loved it, It was unbelievable. And it was quite interesting. They had, there was a huge scandal a couple of years back because Miami came out here with Messi and, all of that nonsense, and they were charging quite a bit of money to watch an open training session, and it was a complete farce. They didn't even come out. They were sitting down. They weren't doing anything. This was the complete opposite. They had a proper training session. There was like an hour and a half where it was really interesting. They set up a pitch where there was 2 goals on one end and 1 goal on the other end, and they played in each half, and anytime a team scored, they would go to the other half and play against that team. And then if they scored, they'd go to the other. So whichever team scored would stay on or something. So it was good for the whole stadium to watch, because there was always, every 4 or 5 minutes, there was like a game going on in front of you. But the lads, look, I mean, they're all fit as a butcher's pencil, right? There's no meat on them at all, right? It's just there's no down season anymore, right? It's like they just look so finely tuned already, a whole lot of them, and spirits were good. It was great, and so looking forward to seeing them. I've got tickets to watch them play Milan. And I'm in the Milan end, smack bang in the middle of the Milan end.
Okay.
So I'm gonna pull a Begsby from Trainspotting. I'm just gonna stand up, reveal myself, and just chuck a beer behind me. And go, who wants some? Let's see.
Excellent. Trainspotting is the reference. If you don't know, great film. One of about two. Good British films ever made, and it really is good.
Absolutely.
Check it out. Jen is in the chat. Jen says, big up, guys. Hello, Jen. Big up to yourself. Great to have you with us. Do let me know your thoughts. Let us know your thoughts on Isak. And because they, and on the I keep wanting to say friendly. No, on the training session, if you saw that as well. I was watching it on YouTube, and because I had a live stream, and it did look really interesting. They played on a smaller pitch, and then they played on the whole pitch, and it was really it was really good to watch. Actually, I might watch. I couldn't. I was too busy. I had other things to do, but I managed to catch about 5 minutes of it, and I saw Harvey Elliott miss an open goal. I saw a few chances where there were some weak shots, and I was thinking, well, if only we had a number 9 to finish off some of these chances, then and now we might have 2 of the best in the game. The best youngster, the best young number 9 in Ekitike, and the best prime number 9, locked and loaded, ready to go. A word on Ekitike though, like, do you think he knew that we were also after Isak? Because I wonder if you'd be a bit miffed thinking that you're going to join and be the main man, and then suddenly there's a.
I think he must do. No, you know what? And at that level, like I think I told you before, my old job, I used to be a headhunter, at the kind of the more senior levels. And when you have that much money going on, they don't just they don't just take a chance on it, right? He's an investment. They're investing 90+ million euros in him. They're not going to go, surprise, you're actually number 2 a week later. It's like his advisors, I would think, would have known that it's a possibility, because football's a strange game. You never know what happens. But what was really interesting about him is he came on halfway through the training session. He literally just walked onto the pitch, and then the crowd were like, who's that guy? And the camera zoomed in on him. It's like, he's here. People were like standing up and cheering, and it was amazing. It was so good. We were like just gobsmacked. It's like he's not supposed to be here. It's like he came off the airplane, got into a taxi, went straight to the stadium, and came and go, look, lads, I'm here. It's okay. He's huge as well. He's big. Did you see him walking next to Virg? He looked exactly the same kind of build as Virg.
Well, he's thin. He's still thin. He's still got some filling out to do, but he's definitely tall, and he's
been on the Big Macs already. He's already filled out. I'm telling you. So those old pictures of him being wafer thin, he didn't look that thin when up in real person today. He looked more stacked. Even if you look back at the video and you see him walking, he's not as thin as people are trying to make out.
How do you feel if you're Trent, Brian? Because I'd be gutted if I was Trent. looking at Liverpool. Trent. Listen, you know what? I don't begrudge him. He had his head turned by the Miami boys. He fancies himself as Gareth Bale or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I get it. He wants to do that. He's done it now. Enjoy that, Trent.
because I'm not sure you really realize what you've signed up for or what you've walked away from. There's just, even begrudgingly, Man United fans now across the world all say it, like, you have to give it to them. They are a special club, that they're a special lot. We behave impeccably, always, in difficult times. When we win things, we turn out, we're a special club. We bring special things, and it's a special place, and it's a real privilege to support this club. And it was a privilege for him to play for it. And I think a lot of players, when they leave, they realize that afterwards it's not the same. Yes, Real Madrid may be technically the biggest club in the world, right? Because they've got fans everywhere, particularly in America and Latin America, whatever. But is it the same? I mean, I think what we've built, particularly this new iteration of Liverpool, where we have the most robust fan engagement. We have these amazing fan channels. We have this amazing live music scene that's kind of grown up around the football stadium. We've got the chants. We have a machine that just produces these brilliant chants that all the other football clubs copy. Even domestically, they're copying our chants. In today's stadium, they played Dua Lipa, which they're doing everywhere, all around, in not just in football stadiums, but in sporting events. They're taking things that Andy Robinson and Trent made up in the back of a Ford Fiesta on the way to training, and they've turned it into a global phenomenon because they all want a piece of what we've got, this magic that we've got. And I think it'll be interesting to see how that turns out for him, but I think on some level you could see it in his face. I think when he was looking into the crowd, and he was thinking, this is probably the last time I'm going to see this. This is the last time I'm going to be part of this. On some level, I feel sorry for him. But, he has to do what he has to do. I don't begrudge him, The time was right for him. I wish him all the best. But he's dead to me now. Trent who?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we what's his name? Kenny Dalglish. Oh yeah, the king said that we have to get rid of any residual anger there might be. I've always felt the same as you, Brian. Sort of, good luck to him if that's what he wants to do. But he was in tears when he left, and I do think that maybe during that victory lap with the Premier League trophy, when he was bursting into tears, maybe there was a part of him that sort of realized that he's making a mistake, maybe. But I bring it back to the argument I had last season, or the point I had, argument with no one, argument with Trent's brother, if he was listening to Kop On, because I was just suggesting after Trent scored against Leicester. Remember that goal where he ripped his top off and he was celebrating? There were these amazing images of him topless, standing with his arms out in front of an adoring away section of Liverpool fans, but also going absolutely ballistic. That was when Leicester City were 17th in the league. And I looked at La Liga, and at that time, Leganes were 17th in the league. And the point is that, Trent scores a last-minute goal against Leganes. He's not taking his top off. The fans aren't going crazy. And it just simply doesn't mean as much. It just does not mean it much, and it never will. So, you go to La Liga to stat pads. You go to La Liga for the sunshine. You go to La Liga to, I don't know, to avoid the real competition of the Premier League, in my opinion. And that's why hats off to anyone who wants to step up to the Premier League and like Mo Salah, for example. He would have got even more goals if he'd went to La Liga. He would have absolutely torn it up. But he didn't. He chose the competition because he's a competitor and he's a real winner, in my opinion, because he's not just playing for the strongest team in a very weak league, in my opinion.
I was always I don't know if it's a popular opinion or not, but the dirty secret, the elephant in the room was I was kind of happy for him to go as well, because look, I put him in the same bracket as Suarez in terms of gifted footballer, beautiful footballer. Some of the things that he does with the ball you can't do it on FIFA, let alone in real life. You haven't seen him playing in the States. So he was doing some of those crossfield balls that he does. And you just think, oh my God, he's unbelievable. He's got some, but Charlie Adams can do that as well. But there was, for all of these wonderful tricks and all of these amazing things, there was some fundamentals that he just didn't. He always it just showed up from time to time in his game. And part of me was like, I know we're losing so much when he's gone. I know we're losing all this creativity. I know we're losing this unique player. But I don't like having players that are too unique in your team. I rather have a lot of really good players in all different positions, like a team, because it reminded me of Michael Owen. When we had Michael Owen, basically the entire team was there to feed Michael Owen, and we didn't have a team. We had 10 players and then Michael Owen. And then same with Stevie G for a period of time. He was the only good thing that was going on in some of those teams, so everything had to go through him. And because Trent was such a unique player and he had this unique way about him, and he kind of ran by his own rules, he would show up all over the pitch. On some level, it kind of annoyed me. And so when I found when it started to look like he was leaving, I was thinking, you know what? Ultimately, I'd like him to stay. It would be nice for him to stay. But if he leaves, I really didn't feel that. It didn't bother me that much. I think, and on
That's
some
really
level, I think we're going to be more solid without him in the team. I think, we can find. So the argument was, we can't lose him because he's so creative. He's so amazing. But look what we did. We lost him, and immediately we just shifted the creativity to where it normally resides in a team, which is the number 10. And there's loads of those around, and we found the best one. So immediately, problem solved, right? And now just go back to having Connor Bradley there, who's a fabulous player, and it doesn't seem that bad,
It really doesn't. It's a great point. And I wonder if that's the legacy of the Gerard Carragher captain, vice captain period that lasted a long time. As Graham Rogers is in the chat. Hello, Graham. Great to have you with us. But yeah, thinking about when Peter Crouch, for example, on his podcast talked about joining Liverpool and Carragher's mentioned this a few times as well, how Gerrard and Carragher used to fire passes into players deliberately way too hard just to test their technique. And Crouch said that it helped him because it raised his game up several levels. But you compare and contrast that to when Kenny Dalglish the other day in an interview I was listening, when he joined Celtic, who at the time were an amazing team, feared throughout Europe. And he said that when, as a youngster, it was very nurturing because even when you made mistakes, all of the senior players were behind you and they just didn't make a thing of it. You were just expected to try again. And this kind of thing, that annoyed me as much as, Steven Gerrard, I just watched a compilation of his best moments the other day. I absolutely adore him. I really do. But if I was the manager, if I had been Rafa Benitez or Gerard Houllier or someone like that, I would have said, look, boys, cut it out, this testing the players. That's my job as the manager. Your job as the captain and vice captain is to create a nurturing environment where if you make a mistake, it's not important. Like Jurgen Klopp said, it's not important that you make a mistake. It's how you react and how you learn from it that's important. Because I'm sure there were players who came to Liverpool, they were talented, maybe they lacked a bit of confidence, and that confidence was beaten out of them by this attitude of like, well, you're not good enough if you can't control this ball, or you're not good enough to be here, kind of thing. And it's like, and I wonder if Trent was sort of like a final part of that legacy, because there were times where he did switch off. He did think he was too good to defend and he didn't bother, it seems, from the outside. Although, again, I'd like to say how much I adore Trent as well, and I wish him well. I might be in the minority of Liverpool fans, but I just wonder if that's a legacy of that kind of attitude, which, as you say, Brian, is against the team. The team is the most important thing, and you want a nurturing environment that's positive for everybody, even the so-called lesser players. You know, I was very enthused by Lucas Stevenson and by Rio Ngamoha, who did interviews recently in the last couple of days out in Hong Kong, and they're both just so happy to be there, and they feel so much, you know, like they're part of the squad, you know. And this is about the senior players accepting them and nurturing them in the right way, and
mentioning that, it reminds me of with the younger players. I've heard this wonderful rule that Liverpool have for younger players, which I think is really indicative of how well run we are as a club and as an organization, that they don't allow them to have powerful cars. There's an maximum engine power that young players are allowed to buy. So they're just simply not allowed to buy Lamborghinis and Porsches, even though they can. So they all drive sensible cars, these young players. And if you look at them, you know, they all have the same haircut as well. They all just look like scallies, right? You know, they always go to the same barber. But it just keeps them grounded, because young players and young lads, they need guidance, right? And it's the right thing to do. And that's the kind of ethos that we find running right through the group, right through the organization, right from the youth teams all the way right up to the top. So talking to what you're saying there, like having that ethos where they're all accepted, they're all a part of something, there's no special tiers. Because if you look at some of the other clubs out there, they're rotten to the core. That's one of the big problems that Man United had, apparently, that there was all of these big time Charlies. You know, Marcus Rashford was right at the top of that. Like that, he just thought he was too cool for school, you know. And some of the ways that they treated some of the lower players was just God only knows what goes on in Chelsea. Can you imagine what an absolute cesspool that place must be?
Absolutely. I think they're going to be one of our main challenges, though. I think them and Arsenal and Man City, I think they're going to be, all three of them, a lot stronger this season compared to
Did you see what Subamendri said already? He's already got on my tits.
Really?
He's definitely an Arteta player. He said that Arsenal were the most difficult team that PSG played last summer. I was like, wow, well, you didn't even need to say. Why did you say that? That's obviously nonsense.
But Zubimendi didn't even play for PSG. How the hell does he know? You know, you want to ask the players on the pitch. That? You know, you want to ask Luis Enrique, who didn't even. When Luis Enrique was asked, you know, who was difficult in Europe last year, his mind immediately went to Liverpool. He said, "Oh, Liverpool, exactly. Real Madrid," and he forgot to even mention Arsenal, who they played in the semi-final.
Because that's the truth. Because that's the actual truth. That was the reality of the situation. It's like that's another reason why Liverpool. We applauded PSG. We were happy for them when they won the championship because they were the best team in Europe. Because that's the truth. You know, Arsenal, deluded FC. I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, he's only just arrived and he's already talking nonsense. I mean, it's already affected him. My God.
He'll fit right in.
You know,
that's fine, yeah. He'll blend right in. I think I think they will be better with Gyökeres. I've heard a lot of fans being unsure about Gyökeres, but you just need to look at his goal scoring record. It's unbelievable.
His stats are mad, aren't they?
They're really mad. So he's unbelievable. I mean, of course, the Portuguese league is very poor. You play some really poor teams. I mean, they've got 3 good teams, and the rest it's like League 1, League 2 level. Some of them, but I don't care what league you play in. If you have those kind of stats, then you're a striker to be wary of. But everyone's going to be wary of Alexander Isak. and hopefully Liverpool are able to get this deal done. If it's not now, maybe in January. And if it's not in January, it's going to be, it'll be January at the latest. I'm impressed.
If we do it, Owen, if we sign him, we should do a mariachi song, I think. I will dress up. Hola, you. We signed Isak. It's a party. We're here for you.
Well, there you go. You heard it
mariachi.
here first.
I'm working on the lyrics already. It's kind of we can workshop it later.
That's my alarm. I've got to go. I have to go and speak to a footballer in 10 minutes. And I'm gonna just talk about Isak. I'm not really. I'm gonna do my job. But yeah, there you go. Oh, Bongo O'Malley, the scientific consensus is that we do indeed live in a multiverse. Oh, that's interesting, Bongo O'Malley, and who's joined us in the chat on YouTube. The scientific consensus is that we do indeed live in a multiverse. Yes, that is the consensus these days. Of all the universes, in all the gin joints in all the world, I'm so glad to live in the one with this Liverpool transfer window. Fantastic, Bongo. Fantastic.
I doff my hat to you, Bongo. That's brilliant. You win the internet today.
That's wonderful. And on that note, I'm going to chip off and get my head into teaching instead of, way off in this Isak surfing wave of joy. And but I hope that whoever you are, wherever you are, across this wild and weird and beautiful multiverse to which we are all connected in many ways that we don't even understand. I do believe the scientific consensus in certain astrophysicist circles is that we are already inside a black hole, which is very cool to think about. And I say, well, I doubt it as Liverpool fans, but Newcastle fans will certainly be in one very soon. Thank you for watching and listening to Kop On. We'll be back very soon. So take care. Lots of love. You'll never walk alone. See you later. And now on Kop On, a few voice notes from our regular contributors as a bit of bonus material for you.
Whatever way it is, whatever way it's going to be, Isak is going somewhere, and it massively, massively weakens Newcastle in the long run. If we get him, we are becoming really, really, really strong. And it, like I said, it doesn't matter. Isak goes, Newcastle significantly weaker.
At the end of the day, lads, it'll be down to Isak. It won't be down to Newcastle. Newcastle can try and sell who they like. They'll be pretty much selling to themselves, nearly. So it benefits Newcastle for them to go to Saudi, as they can launder in as much money as they possibly want then to spend within their club, and pretty much give them a standing to pretty much spend whatever they want over the next few seasons, putting them right back into PSR. But so it'll be like 200 million up front or 500k a week for Isak. But Liverpool, like if he says I want Liverpool and they don't want to deal with anybody else, it's completely down to Isak. They can't force him to go that way or talk that way. So if they do that, they'll have to do a deal with Liverpool. Liverpool will know that's the case. They know no other team are going to spend that money, bar the Saudi League. And even if he refuses the Saudi League because he's way too young to go yet, he could easily move to Liverpool for like around 96, 97 million that way. I don't think it'll be 130, 150 million. I think the add-ons might bring it up to around 120. But I can't see it going that high, especially when Newcastle don't really have a leg to stand on. They were talking about Erling Haaland going from Dortmund to Man City, and everybody was saying, he's going to be 150 million, of course, City are going to spend it, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden then 64 million he went for, So that's half the price of what he was touted at. So never believe what you see with all this valuation. Wirtz was definitely probably the most expensive player currently in the world, and we got him. But I think Isak will be cheaper. Maybe not the whole package, but he'll be cheaper.